Hey everybody, Slave of Christ. I want to present something to y'all. Jesus at the time of his death, his trial, he's fulfilling Old Testament all throughout there. And basically we all know the story of Jesus, but we've got a couple verses I want to read to you. One out of Exodus 25 and this one out of John 20 and present it to you. On the day of the resurrection, Mary is coming. There's different accounts in the gospel, but this one in John is the one I want to read to you. In verse 20, this is what she sees. And seeth two angels in white sitting, one at the head and the other at the feet where the body of Jesus had lain. This is the tomb that Joseph had of Arimathea, and I believe that's in John, but it's in other gospels as well. And where they laid Jesus, she looks in and she sees two angels, one at the head and then one at the feet. Why is that significant? Because here, with the tabernacle that I got drawn behind me, I know I'm a Picasso, but this is direct. God told Moses exactly how to build this up there on Mount Sinai. What I want to focus in on this ark. In 25 and 19 of Exodus, and make one cherubim, a cherubim's an angel on the one end, and the other cherubim on the other end, even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the two ends thereof. So there it is. Jesus was laid in this tomb. The angel on this end, the angel on that end, and the stone was laid across the front, the only way in, the only one way out. So there's the tomb of Jesus. And it's the holies of holies, and what that place is for the God would come down in the cloud, the holy presence of God in this holies of holies, and would talk to the high priest from right here in the middle, from in between the cherubim, just like Jesus was. And this whole tabernacle points to Jesus. I'm bringing that next week. But what I want to present to y'all is that this here in 16, the Day of Atonement. Priests were in here every day, but they can only come in the holies of holies one time a year. And they offer blood in here. They're just like Jesus bled. And the garments that he had on, he probably bled all over the bench in the tomb right there from his wounds, because he was wounded in 7 different places. He had 7 sayings on the cross. Even what they nailed on the cross. I wish I could go into this great detail, but I try to do short messages. It was written in 3 languages. What it was is different in the Gospels, but basically it said Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. And that written in Hebrew, you drop the first letters. There's the Jewish in Kabbalah and different mystical codes. It was there for the whole world to see. And what you do, you drop the first letter of each word down, and it would spell you out what they're trying to say. Like time of war or something, they would give codes like that, and that's how they would read the messages. And they had Atbash and different things. But Jews, they're very, very smart. But anyhow, they seen all these signs and still rejected their Messiah. And you drop them letters down, and it spells YHWH in the English, and in the Hebrew, Yod He Wah, which is the holy name of God Almighty. So they seen that sign, and it's Jesus, this setting up as the tomb. Even at the cross, where he was at the cross, that there were 4 people at the cross, just like there's 4 angels that hold up the chariot, what they call it, the throne of God in the English is called Merkabah in the Hebrew. And it's just types and shadows, little things like that we overlook because we have no idea about Jewish history. So this is why I want to present this. And the Day of Atonement here in chapter 16 of Leviticus, all of it points to Jesus, and Jesus fulfilled all this. And I'm going to show you why I say that. Because Aaron, he is given the attire of a high priest. He got golden bells. He's got a golden girdle. He's got all 12 precious stones engraved, the 2 emblems up here. And it's just very beautiful garments. But for this Day of Atonement, he has to change his clothes to go in with nothing but pure white linen. This is why Jesus, whenever he rose, his hair even turned white. And that's how we see him. That's how John saw him in Revelations. And he is the high priest right now in heaven. So that's why he is dressed like that. That's why he didn't recognize them. And he left his clothes in the tomb that he had on. Here, Aaron, you'll read the verse that had to leave the clothes where he was when he come in there. And he changed his clothes, and this is what he has on. There's no gold allowed. They come into the holies of holies, and they pick out 2 goats that are identical, and they lay the sins of all of Israel on one, called the scapegoat, and they turn him loose in the wilderness. The other one has to be offered up that has no sin, that is without spot, without blemish, and he's the one that sacrifices, and his blood is shed in here. And that's what Jesus did. He shed his blood for our atonement of sins. And so the high priest comes in here with the Lord's goat that the lot fell on. He sacrificed him in here on the brazen altar. And then he come in there and he offered the blood. So the story of Jesus, now let me go to the story of Jesus. They set a man free every year during their feast day. Okay? And it was Barabbas they brought out. He was a murderer and he was a thief. But what did they holler out? They wanted Barabbas. So they set Barabbas free. He was full of sin, just like that scapegoat. And Jesus was the one that was put to death. So there's the 2 identical goats. And the thing to top it off with, you look up Barabbas' name in the concordance, it means the Son of the Father. And Jesus was the Son of the Father. So there's your 2 identical scapegoats. And that's just very significant. This is fulfilling prophecy to the T. It's just, the word is great. And it's just, I love studying. And I want to share that with y'all. I'm coming back next week showing you how Jesus is all of this in here.